Welcome to this explainer. Today we're going to pierce a really common illusion, that the internet is just this weightless, invisible cloud floating somewhere above us. We're uncovering the very real, physical foundation of our digital lives. Because, well, every click, every single video stream, every artificial intelligence prompt, it all lives somewhere. And how we build that somewhere matters now more than ever.
Okay, let's kick things off with a pretty shocking number, 5 million. Up to 5 million gallons of water every single day. That is what a single large data center can consume just to keep its servers cool. It's a staggering reality, right? And it demands our immediate attention if we're going to sustain this incredible technological progress without completely depleting our planet.
So, here's our blueprint for this explainer. We'll start with the physical cloud, unpack the take-make-waste crisis, introduce the stewardship vision, detail 5 pathways to regeneration, and finally, look at designing our digital legacy.
Let's jump right into Section 1, the physical cloud, and what's behind that digital illusion.
You know, our digital lives, they're not powered by magic. Just look at the sheer scale of the physical reality here. We're talking about massive, industrial-scale factories that literally never sleep. The modern internet runs on thousands of miles of cables, millions of spinning drives, and immense cooling systems. Every AI prompt and search you do relies directly on these physical, seriously power-hungry structures.
Which brings us to Section 2, the take-make-waste crisis, and our current linear model.
Now, what's really interesting here is how clearly this maps out the crisis. You can literally see the linear flow. We extract immense grid power and precious water from municipal supplies, we make our digital transactions, and then, well, we just waste the byproduct. We vent massive amounts of heat straight into the atmosphere and strain local infrastructure. It is a one-way street of extraction.
And look, this isn't just some abstract environmental concept. The effects hit right at the fence line. For the people actually living next door, this linear model brings constant mechanical noise, massive local electricity bills, and destroyed wildlife habitats. And these are neighborhoods that see very little economic benefit in return. It's a crisis where local communities are basically bearing the burden of our digital expansion while the profits just flow elsewhere.
But we have a choice, so let's explore Section 3, the stewardship vision, a necessary paradigm shift.
Just look at the difference in the flow in this holistic model. Instead of that linear path of extraction we just talked about, energy, water, and community are designed in a regenerative, closed loop. This is a system that actually heals rather than harms. It treats the facility not as this isolated, grid-draining machine, but as a living part of the surrounding ecosystem that gives back to it.
It really all boils down to this crucial guiding philosophy from author Hardin. Truth first, solutions second, benefits for all. First, we have to face the absolute truth of our resource consumption. Then, we design thoughtful, testable solutions. And finally, we have to ensure that the resulting technological wealth benefits everyone, not just a select few.
Let's get into the how in Section 4, 5 pathways to regeneration, building the future.
These 5 pathways form a fully integrated approach. By combining conscious construction with intelligent water systems and clean energy, and then tying it all to agricultural and human-centered design, we completely transform data centers. They go from being sheer resource consumers to active community restoration partners.
And this visual roadmap really brings those pathways to life. Imagine actually constructing these buildings with regenerative materials like carbon-negative hempcrete. Or think about integrating agricultural greenhouses right next to server farms. By aligning these systems, we're creating triple benefits for the Earth, for human life, and for our tech.
This brilliantly illustrates the vertical stewardship principle. Actually, think about it. Instead of sprawling outward and bulldozing 50 acres of land, we preserve that land by building upwards. This 8-layer design incorporates things like advanced shock-absorbent foundations, drone-assisted maintenance, and closed-loop water recycling right inside the structure. It's incredibly dense and beautifully efficient.
Now notice the pivot here from the left to the right. Instead of server heat acting as this wasted liability that's just vented into the air, that exact same heat is captured. It's transformed into a thermal asset. It can be piped directly into district thermal networks to warm local schools, hospitals, and greenhouses. The heat suddenly becomes this massive community resource.
So it's all about making this critical transition. We are moving away from horizontal concrete sprawl and toxic water discharge and moving toward vertical density and carbon-negative hempcrete.
We're shifting from draining local aquifers to using atmospheric water generation. We're literally pulling clean water from the air to cool servers and then returning pure water back to the community.
Finally, let's look at Section 5, Designing Our Digital Legacy and Building for Generations.
Author J. Hardin's personal journey across these decades proves something vital. If you trace the path from the 1958 typewriter to the 1970 mainframe, through the PCs of the 80s, the internet of the 90s, right up to today's cloud, it shows that technology is this continuous, human-led evolution, and the goal has always been unlocking freedom.
What's really fascinating here is seeing how the tools changed over the decades, but the fundamental mission, sharing knowledge to empower people, remained exactly the same. The hardware evolves, sure, but that human drive for connection and shared prosperity, that is the constant.
This invokes a really powerful concept, a modern cyber underground railroad. Much like the historical network led to physical freedom, this is a collaborative pathway to ensure our technological expansion leads to digital equity. It leaves absolutely no community behind. It's about building infrastructure that fights food insecurity, lowers energy burdens, and provides equal access to the digital age for everybody.
Ultimately, by shifting from the extraction model on the left to this incredible living campus model on the right, data processing can actually coexist alongside public parks, research labs, and thriving orchards. We can sustainably power our digital future while at the very same time restoring our local ecosystems.
So I want to leave you with this defining question for our era, and I invite you to demand a digital legacy that truly benefits all of us. Will our thirst for AI and cloud computing leave behind a wasteland of depleted resources? Or will we build a regenerative foundation that sustains the seventh generation? It's a design choice. And honestly, it's one we absolutely must make together. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.